I'll now request Jan Yaghi to come and talk about pitching. Jan is winner of 2010 PyQuest. He's the co-founder and CEO of Verold Incorporated. He raised money in very difficult times and did wonderfully well. He was previously a consultant with Monitor Group, where he worked with clients in online recruiting, fast-moving consumer goods, pharmaceuticals, biotech, and feed industries. He holds an MBA from Rockman School and communication engineering from American University. Let's welcome Jan.
Thanks. You reminded me of my consulting days. I forgot all about that. Where are my slides?
You're speaking without slides.
That's right. That's right. Because you don't need PowerPoint to pitch, right? So I'm going to go solo tonight. But first, before I start, who here is looking for funding for their company? Who here has an idea or a solution or whatever? Right. Come on, that's it. Why so timid, right? Okay. Who is actively seeking funding? Okay, not bad. I guess a little more weight here, or at least they're more willing to admit it. Why would an investor give you money? Who wants to help me?
It's a valuable investment.
More back.
Where was that? Where did that come from?
They want more back.
They want more
Yeah,
back.
that's right.
That's the only reason investors will ever give you money. Unless you're doing a nonprofit and you're going to the Gates Foundation or something. The only reason an investor will give you money is because they want more back. They're in the business of making money for their limited partners if they're a VC, or they're in the business of making more money for themselves if they're an angel, and they want to take a risk. And you are that risk that they're taking. Because they don't want to put their money making 2% or whatever, 0.5% in the bank. They don't, or maybe they're diversifying. They have some here, some here, some here, and a little they're going to give to you. So what do you need to do to convince an investor to give you money? You need to show them that you can
Make money.
Okay. So how do you show that you can make more money than what they give you? How do you do that? Oh, come on. I know it's 8, but come on. Somebody has to have a good idea.
Must have a good solution. Good sales.
Sales. We'll get the solution in a moment. Good sales. Who are you selling to?
Customer.
Customer. What are you selling them?
Product or service.
Solution.
You're selling them what?
Solution.
No, you're selling them a solution to what?
Problem.
A problem. Thank you. You're selling them a solution to a problem they have. Right? I've seen so many pitch decks start with an idea. The minute you start with an idea, what happens? Can anybody tell me what happens? Who's pitched before? Who's actually pitched to somebody who has money? What happens the moment you lose their attention?
When you start talking about your ideas.
No, yeah. What happens though?
Smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lose their attention.
Anybody seen BlackBerry syndrome when you're pitching? It is the most frustrating thing in the world. You know that you're out of the door, right? Has anybody seen that pitching? When the phones come out, you might as well just give up and stop, right? You've lost their attention. The moment you start talking about an idea, you've lost their attention. You got to show them how you're going to make them money back, and that usually starts with, what are you selling? And what are you selling is so dependent on the problem you're solving. Look at Diana's pitch. It was beautiful. She didn't tell you what she was doing. What did she start with? What was the problem? Yeah, come on, more energy here, please, right? She started with the problem. I remember 2 presentations from last time that also started a problem. Francis, sorry. I know it was an F and I know it's somewhat French. So Francis, you started with a problem. I remember that your pitch very well because you started out with the problem. The problem is you need to take 1/2 liter of blood from a person to do the test, right? Right. So I remembered that because it was a problem, like, because I felt it. I remember going to, I'm asking myself every time I do a blood test, why the hell are you taking 1/2 liter out of me, right? And when Francis gave his pitch, he started with that problem and he immediately connected with what he's doing. I felt it. And then I was attentive, I was listening, even though he lost me through some of the technical details, I still was interested enough to most likely read his business plan later on. And that is what you want to do with a pitch, is to get them to either show more interest in your business plan or give it to a low-level person who will read it and give a recommendation on it. Why? Why do you want them to read your business plan or whatever document you give them? So that you can get closer to
Money.
getting their money. Whether it's an angel or a venture capitalist, or it doesn't matter, even your mom and dad, right? Doesn't matter. You want to get closer to that step of getting the money. And the pitch is one step. No more, no less. And it will only work if you get their attention. Right? I'm going to treat you like 8-year-olds from now on. Because if you get their attention. And how do you get their attention? You already talked. We're just summarizing now. How do you get their attention?
By talking about the problem.
Yeah, see, this guy's going to get an apple at the end, right? You're talking about a problem that they can feel. Because if you go and tell them, look, I've done this cool electrode thing that I've put on my muscles. You know, I can stimulate. I'm sorry, I'm making fun of your pitch, but it's the last thing I remember. And it stimulates them and I can get them to move and stuff like that. And if you don't put it in the context of why are you doing this, what happens? Where's my phone? Yeah, cell phones come out. You know, it's the kiss of death when cell phones come out. Really, it is. Okay, so you want to prevent that. You want to keep their attention. Now that is the purpose of a pitch. I just felt I needed to cover it, cement it. It's always about the problem. It's always about getting their attention so that you can go into the next step. Nobody's ever going to get money after just a pitch, right? Now, why didn't I do PowerPoint? This is a very important point that I've seen a lot of people, so many entrepreneurs, they live and die by PowerPoint. Okay, it's good to know your material, but really, half of the money I've raised, and I've raised over 7 figures, multiple 7 figures for my 3 companies, half of the money I've raised was over dinner or lunch or drinks. Try ripping out PowerPoint over drinks, right? Good luck. If you can't talk about what you're doing, if you can't convince them about your financials and why you need their money and what you're going to build and how you're going to sell it and who you're going to sell it to, if you can't do that without PowerPoint, over drinks or lunch, or over golf, or whatever networking event you're doing, it's a problem, right? So I just want to encourage you to try, let go of your dependency on slides. They're good to have, and in some formal pitches you need them. But most of the times, deals are closed outside of boardrooms. That's my experience at least, right? Most deals are closed outside of boardrooms, so you have no access to PowerPoint. So that's why, forget the slides, be comfortable knowing your business, in and out, your competition, the flow, everything. Now talking about the flow, what is a pitch? Come on. Nobody knows what is a pitch? What is a pitch? Who has a good word for it? What's a good synonym for a pitch?
Story.
Oh, you said it without any prompts. Beautiful. What is it? It came from here. A story. A pitch is a story about. One element of it is a problem, but it's a story about how you're going to make these
money.
investors money. Right? That's a pitch. It has different elements. It has a problem. It has a solution. It has a climax, an anticlimax. It has players, competition, all that. Weave your own story. Become comfortable with it. So many people have different styles. Find what your style is. Right? My style, and this is after failing many times, I like to go in heavy and hard at the beginning, boom, lots of energy, and then mellow out a little bit, right? And let me continue, you know, grab their attention and then keep going, mellow out, talk slower about the competition, about financials, about customers, and all that great stuff. You got to find your own story. How do you weave your story? What's the best way to build a story?
Talk about the customer.
But yeah. Those are elements of the story. But how do you put a story together? That's how you deliver it. But how do you put it together?
Grab attention.
Has anybody written a book or a screenplay or whatever? Who's written something like a screenplay or something? Do you ever get it right from the first time?
No.
No. So how do you write a good story?
Tell it lots of times.
Yeah, but okay, but how do you get there?
Draft.
Iterations. Iterations. Every single pitch I've delivered in my lifetime, I have at least 100 copies. At least. I am not joking. Every time I make a change, I save as, because I want to remember, go back and see stuff like that. You know, there's a problem. If somebody can come up with a PowerPoint that has revision drafts, I'll buy it, right? How many pitches do you do for any one story you do?
Oh, many.
Yeah.
And they evolve, you're right, they absolutely evolve with time, and your pitch is perfected.
Yeah. You got to iterate. That's the only way you create your own story, because it's your story. You could read a billion ways of how to create a pitch and how to create a story and all that. But everybody has their own experience. Everybody has their own problem. Everybody has their own style. The only way you're going to perfect yours, the only way you're going to go in and avoid sudden death syndrome of mobile phones is by iterating your own story, by creating it again and again and again and again. Sometimes you improve, sometimes you go into a dead end, but you have to become more aware of what you're doing. Iterate, practice, fail. That's the only way, really, in my book, that you're ever going to walk into a room with confidence and tell these investors, here's why I want $2 million from you. So I'm going to do or solve X, right? So let's summarize. Why do investors want to see you?
They want to make money.
Yeah, because they believe they can make money off of you, right? It's a two-way street. You make money, they make money. Everybody's happy, except the clients you sell to, right? Joe, right? How do you make money? How do you demonstrate you can make money? Yeah, you start with a problem you can solve. If that's one thing you can remember, is always start with the pain, with the problem, never the idea, never. That's my advice, a bit too hardline, but I would never ever pitch an idea in my life. So we talk about the pain, and then you talk about all the components that go along with how am I going to solve this problem, and why do I need your money, right? And then finally, how do you perfect your story?
Iterate.
Yeah, practice and iterate. Do lots of revisions. And practice with friends, practice with your stuffed toys, practice in front of a mirror. I don't care, but practice. That's the only way you become better. Okay? Good luck.
Okay, guys, questions? Good.
So of all the many iterations that you had of your pitch, so did you ever tune it to your audience or not?
Absolutely. If I'm pitching to a group of angel investors, my story would be slightly different than I'm pitching to venture capitalists. Because angel investors, they're not institutional, right? There's more of a personal connection they want to establish with you. Whereas venture capitalists, they want to see, you know, the hard ROI that an angel would not care about. That's one way of tuning it. If I'm talking to a bunch of people who know my industry, so ex-game developers, I don't go into the fluff in the beginning, oh, here's how you create a game. I just get into it, right? If I'm talking to people who don't understand my industry, oh, before I tell you about what I'm doing, I'm going to give you a crash course in how games are created. So always, you got to be like water, man. You got to flow, right? However your audience is taking you, flow into that direction. And you only become comfortable with flowing by practicing, right? But always, if you don't adapt, you die, right? Always adapt to who you're pitching to, always.
Yeah. For the people that you're pitching to, where do you kind of meet them, find them?
So, can I paraphrase what you said? I'll pitch to anybody who will listen, right? You know, just today, I was talking to somebody here in the audience, and he was telling me, Jad, you know, my cousin works at Weta. I want to introduce you. I'm like, fuck, yeah, please, sorry. Oh, yes, please do, right? You don't know who you're going to meet. Just keep talking, put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone. You meet somebody in the elevator. I raised $100,000, part of my angel round, from somebody I met randomly at Mars. I was walking, this guy looking bored. Hey, you look bored. Can I tell you what I do? He's like, sure, go ahead. And, you know, I'm serious. And after 3 coffees and 1 talk with his lawyer, I got a $100,000 check from him, right? You never know who you're going to bump into. Yeah, it's 1 in 100,000, you know. The other 999,000 people I talked with didn't give me money. But it paid off. So talk to everybody is my advice. You never know, really. But your pitch has to be convincing. Otherwise, why would I introduce you? My cousin works at Weta, right?
Question. For angels, how do you determine what you're prepared to give up? Equity, percent, cash, what?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question again. I think it was asked and I was dying to answer it, right? If this is your first company, take whatever's offered to you. Within whatever you can negotiate. But take whatever's offered to you. If you're a first-time entrepreneur. If you're a first-time entrepreneur, no track record, take that money, build a company. Who cares what you end up with? Because what you end up with is a reputation. And the next time you go out and raise money, you can tell them, listen, I built this company, I want to do it again.
But what if they're Kevin O'Leary and he wants 100% for...
If I had the chance to give Kevin O'Leary 100% of my company and take his money and build a company and sell it, and then say I got his money and I built a company, I would do it. No hesitation. I would do it. Man, I watch Dragon's Den and I just want to smack the TV. And these people, oh no, you're going to have 51% of my company. I don't want to do that. Why not? You idiot. Sorry, not you, but take the money. Build a company. So next time you go talk to Kevin, you tell him, last time, Kevin, I made you $2 million. Give me half of those and I'm going to make you 20 this time. Right? That's the story you want to build. Serial entrepreneurs are the ones who make money. The exceptions in first-time entrepreneurs who make money. The rule is you almost never make money in your first company. It's the serial entrepreneurs who make the money. It's a career, right? Anything else?
That was a great answer. I answered a lot of questions.
Yeah? You don't want to ask me anymore, huh?
No, that actually answered my question.
Dude, just build a company. Who cares about the details? Build a company. Say, I built a company. Very few people can do that, can say that. Very few people can say, I built a company. So take the money. They're giving you money. They're giving you money. Take it and run away and build a company. Right? But be smart about how much you need. Right? I still got a little more voice for one more answer, if anybody. Yeah?
Did they ask you what your first two companies were and they failed?
My first two failed. And I'm not shy about saying that. Because I learned so much from it, and I'm happy to talk for hours about what I learned from it. How to hire, how not to hire, how to do this, how to do that, right? But, it's all about spinning a good story. Whatever makes your story better, say it. It's all about spinning a good story so that you get to the point where they do due diligence. And then if you do have a good solution, not a good idea, do have a good solution, then you'll probably get the money. Right? Make sense? No, it's not the water. It's thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay.
The last question that
last question.
asked,
Yeah.
but if you want to answer.
Sorry, what was that?
There was a wonderful question that asked you.
Oh yeah, I answered that. That's what I was saying.
Is there another one which has not been asked? Should I like to answer?
Another one? I don't know. I mean, anything I can answer. If you don't want to ask it publicly, I'm happy to answer it privately. Right? Yeah, go ahead.
How long?
You're Lebanese, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell, man. I can tell, right?
How long does it take to raise money? How much time should you budget for that?
In Canada or in the U.S.?
Here in Canada, in Toronto.
No, I'm serious. That's
Yeah.
that's. In Canada, how much are you looking to raise, and at what stage are you at?
Say you're looking to raise seed round $500,000.
Pre-revenue, pre-product?
Yeah. You've got a prototype. You want to kind of take it to launch.
6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months.
Yeah. 6 to 9 months.
One more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's going to take for that 6 to 9 months?
Talking to a lot of people who give you access to that. What you want to do is get a lead investor, somebody who knows your industry, will probably put 20, 30, 40, 50,000, right? And then you go tell everybody else, hey, look, I've got this person who's an expert in my industry and he knows all about this and he's willing to give me money. And you use that as a leveraging effect, as a multiplier effect, to get more people on board. That's how you do it. So you got to find that person, convince them to give you money, go through due diligence with them, then leverage that, right? It does take time. It does take time.
Jack, would you like to tell us something about finding a good co-founder?
Oh my God, don't start me on that, man. No.
Yes, please.
Oh boy. So, you see, the thing with co-founders, the thing with companies are built by people, right? And any company needs good co-founders or a good team. And usually, when you don't have money, give equity, they therefore become a co-founder. There are two lessons I've learned the really hard way about having a good co-founder. A is you've got to find somebody who's your complete opposite in terms of skill set, in terms of temperament, right? And I mean that. If you have two people of the same temperament, the problem is you get into groupthink. Even if you're two people, you can still get into groupthink. Oh, this is a great idea. Yeah, I agree, it's beautiful. That is the worst type of founding team, right? You need somebody who, when you say, this is a great idea, that person will say, no, it's bullshit, here's why, right? And vice versa. Because if you, as a co-founding team, if you reinforce each other's ideas, you're going to get into trouble so fast, you won't even know it hit you. Because the moment you go out and try to pitch to clients, you haven't anticipated what they could say, or try to pitch it to investors, and they don't anticipate what you're going to say, you don't anticipate what they're going to tell you, you're in trouble. So the first thing about a good co-founder is somebody who will not fall into groupthink, somebody will tell you to your face, your idea sucks and here's why. Not you suck, your idea sucks. It's a very important distinction, right? So that's the first hallmark of a good co-founder, somebody you're complete opposite in terms of how they think, how they sell, how they approach. And skill set is very important. If you're a programmer, you need, and you don't know, and you're introverted, and you know you're too shy to answer questions when somebody asks you or whatever, find somebody who's not introverted. Find somebody who can go out there, speak with confidence about your product, even though they're not the ones building it. It doesn't matter. So we get down to a mix of what makes a good founding team. In my opinion, there are 3 skill sets that need to be had in any founding team. Ideally, 2 people, 3 works. The first is technical capability. I don't care what you're building. If you don't understand your market, I'm never going to give you my money as an investor, right? And that's how investors think. If you don't have the technical know-how, I'm not giving you my money. The second skill set that so many entrepreneurs miss out when they start their companies, you need somebody who can sell. You really do, whether it's selling a vision or selling a product. You need somebody who can go in, build you a sales pipeline, build a sales funnel, start funneling those people in, right? Whether it's a big enterprise or if you're doing something that's consumer-based, you need somebody who at least can market and PR, you know, whatever out of it, right? So you need somebody who knows how to sell, knows how to talk. And I mean this with all respect, because a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, they are introverted. They'd rather not talk about their idea, which is fine. They bring a lot of value, but find somebody who can and team up with them. And the third thing that you need to have is you need to have some financial modeling skills. I'm really sorry, but you need to have that, right? And this is something a lot of entrepreneurs miss. If you can't build a financial model and defend it, you're not going to be able to be able to understand how you're going to sell, understand how much money you need, understand your cash burn rate. When do I run out of money? Understand how much money you need to raise. Because really, end of the day, strategy, the word strategy is all good and grand, but it all comes down to money. Especially if you're a startup. You're burning cash the first 2 or 3 years. So you need to have good financial modeling skills, a good grasp of financials, right? So those are the 3 skill sets I think you need to have in a good co-founder or a team of co-founders. Yeah.
In a team of co-founders, what if a couple of people want to pitch? Who is the best pitcher, or can anyone pitch to different investors?
Dude, you're talking about a dream team, right? I would love if all my co-founders can pitch, because then that means I don't have to do it all the time, right? And that means all of us can sell. I think that's a great thing. And you just have to be careful about ego issues, right? Who's CEO, who's not, right? But that's manageable. You find a good mentor who can, you know, who can help you out. But if all of you can pitch and can sell, and understand the technical part of it, dude, that's a dream team. That's a dream team, right? Good luck if you can find all that. I've never seen it, but so good luck. Tell me if you do.
Don't talk about.
Yeah.
You said that for Canada, for raising the $500,000,
Yeah.
it takes 6 to 9 months.
Yeah. Easy.
What was it for the US?
US, Silicon Valley, doing a tech startup, you can do it in half an hour, man, if you know the right people, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about your network. It's all about the size and scale of network. It is very possible to raise money in Canada. I've raised over $4 million for my last company. It is very possible. It just takes time to get all the people, the right people together, right? In the Valley, because everybody's so used to doing it, it's easier. In Boston, a little more difficult than the Valley, but much easier than Canada. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, brace yourself. It will take time.
So our company is more in the biotech side. So for IT companies, there is a very clear mecca. It's the Silicon Valley. But is there any equivalent for biotech?
I'm the wrong guy to ask. I don't know anything about biotech, right? But you can look it up very easily, right? And talk to her. I mean, she's right here, man.
Yeah.
Bug her right after the meeting. Tell her, I want to know, right? Don't let her get out before you talk about it.
Last question.
Yeah.
For the financial analysis and financial projections, when you have to take a look at your own salary and how much you want to compensate yourself throughout the years. Now, this is a discussion that we've had on our team. Should we go on the low end, or should we have an actual projection of actually this is how much I would be getting if I was working at a corporation outside of here?
If you're going to tell me, if I'm an investor, and you're going to tell me, oh, this is how much I could be making at a corporation out of here, you know what I'm going to tell you? Go work there. Go work there, exactly. Get out of my room. You got to make sacrifice. You got to tighten the belt. If you're the founding team, you got to make way less than you can make outside. Right? If you don't believe in your company can make you money in the future because you have a big equity chunk, as an investor, you're sending me the wrong signal. If you're telling me, oh, you know, I want to make 80,000 or 90,000 or 60 or whatever because I could be making it at this other company, I'm going to tell you, go work there, buddy. Don't waste my time. Exactly. Thank you. Right. Makes sense?
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.